Okay, when they said that Gros Morne in French meant big hill, they weren't kidding. What is that?
It's a mammal mimicking machine. I'm gonna attract animals by playing actual animal conversations.
So who are you gonna talk to today?
Well, I figure since there's so many moose in the area, I'd, start communicating with one.
This ought to be good.
Où sont les toilettes? Where is the bathroom?
Woo! That's my French language tape.
Maybe it's a French-speaking moose.
Oh, please, Jen. A bilingual moose?
Sorry, how silly of me.
Look, we're just gonna have to retrace our steps and see where the moose tape is, okay?
Okay.
In this episode of CG Kids, we head to Newfoundland's rugged western side.
We get duck duty with 17-year-old Evan Martin in the province's wetlands.
Then we rock and roll into Gros Morne National Park, where the Earth's upheaval has created some incredible beauty.
And then it's off on the trail of Newfoundland's many, many moose.
In Jay's geology, I check out how forest and animals compost.
Wetlands, highlands, and moose lands, all on this episode of CG Kids.
Geographic Kids.
Okay, whoa. We have to be close to Deer Lake by now. Really.
Jamie!
What?
A moose, stop!
It's fake.
Yeah.
Isn't it your turn to get the gas?
We are in the town of Deer Lake, which is on the western side of Newfoundland. Canada's most eastern province is Newfoundland and Labrador. Now, I figured since we're in Deer Lake, I should take this chance to attract some deer. So just stand back, Jennifer, be careful, because here come the deer.
See, what Jamie doesn't realize is there aren't any deer in Newfoundland. After the last ice age, some birds and some swimming mammals came over from the mainland, and some other mammals came over on ice bridges, including caribou. Now, when the Europeans came to Deer Lake, they saw huge herds of caribou and thought they were deer.
I knew that.
Look, I pumped, you pay.
Actually, Jamie shouldn't feel so bad, because there are a lot of common Canadian animals that don't live in Newfoundland, like porcupines, skunks, raccoons, or even snakes. Any of the animals that are considered native to this part of the province made it over there about 10,000 years ago, although Newfoundland wasn't always an island. Millions of years ago, Newfoundland was attached to Labrador, or the mainland, but separated off into its own island when the Strait of Belle Isle flooded. Deer Lake is at the base of Newfoundland's Great Northern Peninsula on the Gulf of the St. Lawrence side, not far from Gros Morne National Park of Canada. Jamie and Jennifer are headed into a region often referred to as the Humber Zone. This zone has rocks as old as 1,800 million years. Incredible geology tells the history of the Earth. Scientists come from all over the world to study the rocks here. Newfoundland marks the site where two of the Earth's great continental plates collided. It's such a mishmash of rock that rock from deep inside the Earth has been shoved up and sits beside rock from the Earth's upper crust. The rocks here read like pages of a history book. The western side of the island has a lot less people than the eastern side, but it does have the most incredibly rugged cliffs, deep valleys, lakes, and thick forests.
So we're supposed to be hooking up with 17-year-old Evan Martin, and he said to meet him here by this lake, but we can't find him.
Don't worry, Jen. I know how to find him. My mammal mimicking machine makes excellent human calls, too.
What kind of sound is that?
It's a video game.
That's not gonna work, Jamie. Evan's like an outdoorsy guy. He likes canoeing and hiking.
Aha! Evan?
Evan.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Evan. I'm Jenny.
Hi, Jen.
So you just couldn't resist it, huh? You just heard the blips and the squeaks and you're just right on over here.
No, actually, you're standing in my backyard.
You have a lake in your backyard?
Yeah, this is it.
So this must be how you got into canoeing.
Yes.
Through his love of canoeing and exploring western Newfoundland, Evan has gotten involved in duck conservation, especially threatened species. He helps to distribute nesting boxes throughout the wetlands near his home. I thought I'd help by attracting the ducks with my mimicking machine.
So this is one of the boxes right here?
How do they work?
They're breeding nests. The ducks can go in the holes when they fly up during mating season, and they'll go in and that's where they'll live. Ducks Unlimited is a sponsor with the skating movement here in Pasadena. So they used to give us the duck boxes. We used to put them together and go out and put them up and check all the old ones that they had up.
How many boxes are we talking?
Right now we have 4,000 boxes, and 80% of those are being used.
And once you built the boxes, you bring them to the wetlands?
Yes, we do.
Can we go check out the wetlands now?
All right.
The wetlands are the land that is saturated with water. That's bogs and marshes and swamps. They're just teeming with life. We're talking 600 different species are living in the wetlands. And they're good for people too, because they protect us from floods, and they also filter the water so we have cleaner drinking water. And we're in great shape in Canada because we have a quarter of the world's wetlands.
So, can we just put it up now? It's ready?
All right. Just on a tree.
So now it's ready to go.
There they go.
So how do ducks know to come here and use this?
They'll see it when they're flying by.
And they fit into there?
Yep. They can fly full speed right in this little hole.
How many ducks will live in there?
Generally just one and they're young.
And is it a different duck every time?
Not always. Sometimes they'll go back and they'll use them year after year.
With wetlands slowly disappearing, these little guys are losing their homes. Wayne Bartlett from Ducks Unlimited explains how they try to help.
So we want to augment nature. We want to help nature along by bringing these boxes, and we have thousands of them all over the island, with goldeneye as the target. Lots of species benefiting, maybe even some wood ducks and some merganser species that rely on cavities for nesting.
Did you bring a lunch along with you? What's in a snack for me?
It's a great place to lie down, especially if you're a duck. So everyone, you just pop open that door, gives them an extra chance to have a successful nest.
Ideally, where should you put a duck box?
12 to 18 feet in the air, and we've even found nests that are 60 feet in the air in natural holes. When the young are only a day or two old, they'll actually jump out of the box. But they're so elastic, their bones aren't formed in any way, and they're just amazing little creatures, and they just fall. And when they fall, they may hit the ground and bounce 3 feet in the air and then just scoot off into the water.
They're like rubber balls.
They're like little rubber
Baby ducks
balls.
are like little rubber balls.
What if a duck wanted to come home to the box right now?
Duck!
Duck Hotel? That's really nice. Did you make that?
Wasn't me.
Go away.
Eldon?
Yeah, you heard me. Go away. I'm doing something.
What are you doing in there? You're not a duck.
Look, I'm trying to do something here, okay? I am making the duck box nice so the ducks will come here and lay eggs so I can sell them for millions.
But you can't do that. We're trying to save the ducks.
What are you talking about? I put one of these hot water bottles in there, and when they sit down, they can't stop laying eggs.
There's not enough ducks. You can't take the eggs away. That defeats the whole purpose.
I thought there was unlimited ducks.
Eldon, it's Ducks Unlimited.
Now what am I going to do?
Well, there's other conservation houses you can make. I mean, this is pretty nice. You can make them for chickadees, nuthatches.
Bats, house sparrows.
Yeah, bees, butterflies.
Bees and butterflies. That's a good idea. I can get honey from the bees, and from the butterflies I'll get butter.
Okay, guys, it's triviography time. And the question is, what is a fjord?
Fjord?
It's not one of those Viking explorers.
And it's not something you say when you smell a stinky, rancid fish.
Yeah, fjord.
Oh, I'm sorry. Don't fall waiting for the answer.
Very funny. I'm gonna wait over here.
We are here at the Discovery Center in Gros Morne National Park.
People all over the world come here to Gros Morne to see the spectacular natural beauty of the park.
People also come to discover for themselves the incredible geology of the area. The rocks in Gros Morne tell the story of the Earth's shifting over millions and millions of years of geologic turmoil. Old oceans disappearing, new ones emerging, and whole continents taking shape.
That sounds amazing.
Hey guys.
Hi.
How you doing?
Fred?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jenny.
Hey Jenny.
Hi.
Why don't we go look at some rocks?
Okay, rock on! It is truly incredible around here. So this was named a World Heritage Site,
Yes,
correct?
it was, exactly.
And why is that?
It's because we got 4 pieces of a geological puzzle found right here in Gros Morne National Park. You got the tablelands, a section of the Earth's upper mantle. You got the long-range mountains, which are Precambrian, really old rocks. You got deep water sediments and shallow water sediments, all piled and packed together right here in Gros Morne National Park. So let's go look at some rocks.
Okay.
This is limestone breccia, a sedimentary rock formed from sediments cemented together. This is a piece of granite, an igneous rock, formed from cooled and hardened magma from deep inside the Earth. And this is gneiss, a metamorphic rock. Metamorphic rocks are formed when igneous or sedimentary rocks are changed by heat, pressure, or chemical action. Let's go find some fossils. What you found was a graptolite. It was an animal that floated around in the ocean 500 million years ago. Now, I know a lot of people think they look like plants, but they were actually animals. And inside each of those lines lived a teeny tiny little worm. And these graptolite colonies floated around in the ocean, feeding on phytoplankton. Unfortunately, they went extinct about 300 million years ago.
So Fred, what exactly are the tablelands?
The tablelands are the most significant geological feature in Gros Morne National Park. The tablelands are a big slab of upper mantle rock from underneath an ancient ocean.
Wow! So does that have anything to do with the apple in your pocket?
Well, of course, because the apple is a model for the Earth. And if we cut it in cross-section, we can see the Earth's upper mantle. Voila, you hold a piece. You'll notice that it's made up of lots of different layers. It's got a thin, delicate, delicious skin on the outside, called a crust, a softer, mushier layer inside, called a mantle, and then, of course, just like in the center of the apple, the center of the Earth has a core. Now, the core, it's solid iron. So that's the inner core. The outer core is molten, the lower mantle is molten, and the upper mantle is solid. The tablelands is a section of upper mantle rock from underneath an ancient ocean that's now sitting up on top of the continental crust.
Actually, my tablelands is sitting in my stomach.
How were the tablelands formed?
What we have to do is a bit of a demonstration. So you're ancient North America, you're ancient Europe and Africa. Here's the mantle rock there. Now, here's the crust. The crust is really thick, anywhere from 5 to 75 kilometers thick. So continental crust is thicker than oceanic crust, which is only 5 to 10 kilometers thick. This is an ancient ocean. 500 million years ago, these two ancient land masses, continental crusts, were smashing together, and one landmass was subducted or forced down underneath the overriding landmass. And these two continents came together in massive continental collisions, earthquakes and volcanic activity, and a section of the mantle was heaved up into the center of that continent, that supercontinent of Pangaea. And then approximately 250 million years ago, the continent split apart, let it go. And when it broke apart, a section of the mantle was left behind. Stick up your ocean floor there. The Atlantic Ocean was here. Europe and Africa went that way. North America, South America went this way. But now a section of upper mantle rock that was underneath the ocean now sitting up on top of the continent. And over the last 250 million years, erosion and glaciation have worn down these tablelands into this plateau that we see behind us here today. So that's how you get a section of a mantle rock up on top of the continent.
Jamie, come on over and I'm sorry, it's time for the triviography answer. Come on.
That's as close as I get. Okay, do you remember the triviography question? What is a fjord? Okay, can I go now?
You have to send the word to Jay first.
Okay. Jay, what is a fjord?
Ah, fjords. They are river valleys that have been scoured by glaciers. You see, during the last ice age, massive glaciers dragged through the valleys, turning them into deep gorges. This created long and narrow bays, where fresh water from inflowing rivers and glacial meltwater mixed with the salt water of the ocean. Fjords are known for their distinctive U-shape. When the glacial meltwater flows into the fjord, it brings in deposits of finely ground rock. When these deposits accumulate at the bottom of the fjord, they fill in the gorge and create a flat bottom. The coasts of Newfoundland and Labrador are famous for their many fjords.
Oh, this park is amazing. You can really feel the power of the earth.
Oh, yes! It's working!
What's that sound?
It's a moose. And pretty soon, we're gonna have a whole herd of moose attracted to right here.
No dice, Jamie. Not a single moose.
But you did attract a park biologist know something about moose.
Well, hello.
Oh!
Hi, morning.
Hello, Dr. Fleming. Are all
you?
moose as stealthy as you?
Well, yes, they can be pretty quiet for a big animal, you bet.
So we've been looking all over and we haven't seen a moose. Is that because they're not native to Newfoundland?
Well, they're not native, but there's lots of moose around. They were brought here around the turn of the century, and now there are thousands of moose on the island.
How did they get here?
Well, they were brought over from New Brunswick and also from out west to the southern part of the island, and their population just grew. There's only a few moose at the time, 6 moose, that's it.
So how was it that they just so easily adapted to a place that they're not from?
Well, as you can imagine, when you come to an island without any predators, lots of food, life is good.
What animals are native to Newfoundland?
Well, there's about 14 species of native mammals, like woodland caribou, the black bear. We have perhaps the biggest black bear in the species range here on the island. But really, nothing like a moose.
Do you think we'll see any moose today if we go looking?
Well, you just might.
On our walk up the hill, Stephen showed us how the moose have impacted on the park's ecosystem.
Now, if you look here, we have some small trees. Now, these are balsam fir. If you look at the size, it's not very big. A tree like this could be 40 years of age, maybe as much as 60. Every year, the moose comes along, chews all the new growth, and it stays that size.
Well, there's something good about being a baby forever. Right, Jamie?
Now, if you look at this tree, you can see that he's reaching for the sky, and he's not very big. Every year, the moose is chewing on him. If they can get high enough, then they can get past the height of a moose, and they'll start to grow like the trees around us.
They're so skinny. And this is actually a Christmas tree?
That's a balsam fir, typically used for Christmas trees.
You could still hang an ornament like here.
This fence is meant to keep out moose, and what you can see is without moose, that the understory is lush. And what we've learned so far is that certain species of trees, like these hardwoods here, they're far less common than they would be otherwise. Moose like to eat them, and in all likelihood, that's changing the environment for the wildlife that also depend on them.
It seems like they're almost like a lawnmower.
Every single year, moose grow their antlers to this size and then knock them off and start all over again. Oh, whew, that's a relief. Hey, it's poo! I found the moose poo! Oh, that's really teeny for moose poops.
Well, that's the normal size.
So how is moose poo good for the soil?
Well, moose go around eating vegetation, and then of course they do their business. And this refertilizes the soil. It has phosphorus and nitrogen, which helps plants grow again.
And yet another reason why I love moose. They may eat the vegetation, but they give it back in their poo. They're so giving.
My pet guinea pig might live in this cage, but he's doing something most wild animals in Canada do, especially moose. and that's eat vegetation and then poop it out. Although I do have to clean up after him, but not after moose, luckily. Guinea pigs and moose are herbivores. That means they mostly just eat plants. Over 20 kilograms of plants a day for a moose. And that means a lot of poop ends up on the forest floor where it goes back into the soil. That's because it's biodegradable. Nature has a cycle, or even a recycle way of using waste to help the forest grow. When a leaf falls from a tree, or a ton of leaves in the fall, they add to the nutrients in the soil. These decaying leaves create something called compost. Composting is when organic material is broken down by microorganisms or microbes such as bacteria and fungi. These incredibly tiny organisms live in the soil, and as they eat the organic waste, they break it down. So how does the whole natural composting thing work? Let's check it out. So with animal manure and vegetation falling to the floor of the forest and being composted, what does this do to the forest? Well, first let's look at soil that contains decomposed organic matter, or compost, and soil that doesn't. When soil contains composted matter, it is better able to hold and drain both water and air. Because of this, it can actually help prevent erosion. See how the soil without the compost dissolves apart? Unhealthy soil is more likely to be carried away by water. A couple of weeks ago, I planted seeds in these two different soils. You can see what healthy soil means to plants. Soil with lots of decomposed organic matter contains lots of plant food and releases it to the plants as needed. Plants develop better roots, and this means healthier forests. Biodegradation is anything that is capable of being broken into small substances by natural biological processes. And it's easy to figure out what will decompose. Anything that once came from a living thing is called organic and will break down. The reason that animal manure is easily degraded by microbes is that the process has already started in the animal's stomach through digestion. There, I'm giving back to the soil what was taken from it. Whew, that's a lot of work. I'm really pooped.
A fantastic fact about Newfoundland is that its provincial flower, the picture plant, actually eats meat to obtain nutrients. Because these plants grow in bogs and marshes with nitrogen-poor soils, they have learned how to find the phosphates and nitrates they need from other sources. Insects are attracted by the picture plant's colored leaves and scent, but these leaves are so slippery that the bugs slide into the pool of water at the base of the plant. Once in the water, an insect will find the tiny hooks inside the plant make escape impossible. They are trapped and soon digested by the plant. The picture plant of Newfoundland is one of the wonders of the natural world, a plant that eats insects, and the occasional Canadian adventurer.
You know, we've seen some pretty amazing creatures here in the western part of Newfoundland. Like we saw the moose and the eider duck and that really cool pitcher plant that...
Yep.
See, we didn't need your mammal mimicking machine after all.
Forget the mammal mimicking machine. This has been tweaked. This is now the mineral mimicking machine.
Minerals?
Listen to this. This is Precambrian rock, okay?
Jamie, rocks don't make any sound.
Really?
Come on, do that again, do it again.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool! Here,
Okay,
let's see what happens if we turn the volume
Jen,
up all the way.
No. No, Jen, that was not a good idea.
Ah!
Whoa!
Welcome to Green Point in Grossmore National Park, home of the graptolite fossils. We were soft-bodied worm-like tiny animals living inside a tough material. Hard and thorny, made of collagen, providing us with an outer skeleton. Floating in the ocean in the hot, hot sun. Feeding on the plankton is a lot of fun. Where we lived in the ocean millions of years ago, but now we are dead extinct, don't you know? So now we are fossils and all that remains. Marks on the rocks are looking like stains. Some geologists love us a whole lot and learn a great deal even though we're all squat.